Hello, this is my walkthrough about how I go through paintings. So this is a sketch I already made beforehand. It's, the sketch. I made it with this brush. It's my favorite brush for sketching, that's all I gotta say about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge my two sketches while still retaining the original ones. So I have my whole sketch on one single layer. And then I'm gonna change it to the more opacity there is, the darker the lines will be. And then I'm gonna change the color of the lines because I don't want it to be pure black because then colors tend to look dull in the end. And I will instead change it to a dark desaturated blue. It's from a Copic preset color palette I downloaded. It's kind of my favorite blue. So how I'm doing that is just fast and easy. Just slap a layer on top of it, clip it to it, stick it to the layer below. I copied the sketch layer because I thought the opacity was just a little bit too low. And after that, you just make a folder layer underneath your sketch for where you're gonna put your flat colors. I took my ref image out, and then I'm gonna try get a good purple for her skin color. I know there's much easier ways to go about what's it called, making selections, but I can't be bothered. So yeah, I'm just trying to see if that's the color I actually want. And there you just go around the edges of the piece, because after we're done putting the flats down, we're just gonna select everything outside of it and delete it later. So we just have a clean silhouette and no leftover sketch lines. I sped this part up quite a bit because it took like a long time, and I'm not gonna end up making a 1-hour tutorial because that is very long and I am very lazy. So yeah, I just went about capturing the silhouette as a whole, and then later with clipping masks I added the actual flat colors like hair and such. Yeah, there's not much I can talk about this because okay, I guess I skipped ahead. Fine. I put the glass and the skirt on a different layer because I wanted them to be transparent, so I could erase them in a later time, but I don't think I ended up doing that, so whatever. But yeah, I copied the two of them, merged them, so I have a whole silhouette, and right now I already deleted everything outside of the lines. Just grabbed the more ref for the armor piece, and I went to town again. So I can't really say much, except, oh look at that, it's purple. Yeah, I'm not a very good teacher if you haven't noticed. But yeah, once again, just using a hard edge, no opacity brush, just slapping the color on there. I didn't want to do it with the lasso tool or something like that, because sometimes I have a hard time really grabbing the edge that I wanted, because sometimes you end up drawing a line in the middle of a sketch line and then it looks bad. So if I just take a brush and neatly cut out where I want stuff to end, it sometimes ends up better. Well, not sometimes, just with sketches, because if you do line art, then a lasso tool is much better. But we're not doing that, so whatever. I remember when I was coloring, I felt like everything had to lean kind of towards the purple. Because normally I would, for these iron trimmings, I would have just gone with, a normal gray, but this one is a little bit colored towards a purple. I mean, it looks good though. the color palette kind of reminded me of Sylvanas. And that's a big oof, because I don't really like that character. So when I'm done with laying flats, I always go in with like a textury brush to add in color variations. In this case, I only did it on the thin parts of the skin where more blood vessels would show through, because I find that it brings more life into a piece so they don't end up like, you know, a colored wax statue or something. That does not look good. And then you can really tell like, oh, this is, you know, they don't really have a full understanding of how skin works. I used the hue adjustment slider to make it a little more purple than red, because they don't really have tan skin like humans do, so it just matches better, because even though the blood is red, the skin's purple tone would still overshadow it a little bit. So when I'm done with putting colors, I go back into my sketch layer and I clean it up. Like all the lines, all the little artifacts that I left in. I'm gonna try to get rid of most of it. Not all, clearly, but most of it, because it'll save me time when I'm actually doing the overpaints later. And when I'm done with the little cleanups, I also go back in with what's it called? With my blending brushes to kind of already blend in the line art with, well, not line art, the sketch lines with the colors, because once again, it just saves you so much more time to do it later, because right now all you do is blend it depending on opacity, so you don't really have to care about whether or not they have a correct hue shift, because, well, that happens later. So if you don't do it now, it'll be a bigger pain in the ass when you get to it in a later stage. I found it out the hard way, so yeah. I don't think that in the speed paint, or whatever you would call this video, I took time to really show what my blending brushes do. So I'll probably do that some other time, or never, knowing myself. But yeah, I do really think that going back in to clean up your line art helps make it more clear for you in the later time to what you're actually doing. Because sometimes all those tiny little lines do get confusing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure now I grab my blender brush and my painting brush, because I thought what's it called? The opacity on like the body itself, like the arms, was a little bit too low. As far as I just see, I didn't record myself blending the actual lines out, so that's kind of sad. But here I just grabbing my paintbrush that I call Actual Chalk 2. I don't know why I named it that, but it's a very good brush in my opinion. And I'm just gonna put in some quick shadows. I didn't really think of a distinct light source except maybe from the front on our right side. So the shadows might not make sense, but I just wanted it to be dealt with quickly. So yeah, I slap them down, and if needed, I blend them out a little bit for later. Because not everything has a sharp edge to it. And once again, blending things out now saves you time later. So yeah, just doing the hair stuff. I had quite a hard time trying to distinguish that one lock of her ear from the rest of the hair behind it. I think I went back there a couple times. So right now I'm checking the values, or I checked it with using a black layer on color mode, because it only shows you the values, not hues or anything. It really helps to check if it's good. Now what you're seeing now is what I call myself what's it called? Something occlusion, and it's different from values. Yeah. I'm slapping on a little gradient here for some color variation. Because sometimes just a flat tone can look a little bit boring. I was gonna have a beachy background at first, but I think I deleted the layers and the footage so you don't have to see that. But I still liked how this gradient overlay matched with the colors. I don't think I recorded making the actual background. But I also don't think that's in this video, but in the second, so it'll just be there. But that doesn't matter right now. Now, here she looks a little bit like Gru from Despicable Me, if you ask me. Oof. Yeah, just adjusting some colors. Pretty sure I darkened it a little bit with a multiply layer too. Oh, if you look at my layer folder, I applied a mask to it, so instead of having to clip every layer to my colored layers below, my flats, I put the layer mask on the folder itself and set the folder mode to through so I don't have to struggle with it. You know, coloring outside of the lines, checking some more gradients right now. I mean, separate from the final piece, the gradient maps do kind of look funny. Well, not funny, they look good. I don't think I ended up using them, but I think I will in the future, just, you know, painting a black and white piece and slapping some gradients on it. I think it'll look pretty decent. But that doesn't matter right now. We're just trying to make the colors blend together, make them, you know, softer, work together. What am I doing? I don't know. I don't remember this. Well, I guess I just flattened all my layers. Okay, yeah. I got rid of that one line that I couldn't remember why it was there. I still don't know why it's there, but yeah. Cleaning up the silhouette a little bit more because I might have gone a little overboard with the skin tone there. I also saw a little mistake on her ear, but I fixed that later. Oh god. But yeah, there she is. Oh yeah. Something you also gotta remember doing is coloring your sketch or your line art before you do paintings. I mean, if you look at the skin now with the dark blue, it doesn't really look, you know, alive. I mean, it's still better than if they were to be black, but still. Turning them to a little more desaturated pinkish purple makes it at least feel like there's blood showing through the skin. And it looks softer and more, you know, like you actually know what you're doing. I did, however, put actual black back on the eyelashes. For the sake of contrast, mostly. See, there's how it looks like when the layers isn't clipped to the line art. What's it called? I also, well, not now, but later, put the same colors that I used for the line art / sketch on my multiply layer for the shadows as well, so those would blend in better too. But yeah, I'm just going around, coloring a little bit, changing the color, well, the hue of the metal to a more blue, because it would both, no, never mind, I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, you can see it looks much better with the colored. Not like that, obviously. Okay, yeah, I don't know why the video cut off like that, but oh well, I don't care. So that was it for part 1. This is what I call my paint preparation. It's, well, more actually just a colored in sketch. In the next video I'm gonna talk about overpainting, so turning it into an actual finished rendered painting with lighting effects, background, yeah, all that kind of jazz. So thank you for watching. This was part 1, and for the outro I'm just gonna show you the piece how it looks at its current state. Goodbye!